South Koreans are 6 times leaner than the Americans, 5 times leaner than the Australians, and 4 times leaner than the British, Canadians, and Germans. Have you guys seen that show on Netflix called Physical 100? Koreans ain't playing. But that's not even the crazy part. They eat one superfood almost every day that helps them burn fat, and I'll touch on this in rule number 2. They're projected to become a blue zone region. A blue zone is a place or a region that has unusually high numbers of centenarians, people living to 100 years old or beyond, and they don't even count calories or avoid carbs or spend hours in the gym. And what they do is simple. It triggers a massive fat burning process in their body like nothing else. Koreans follow a 1,000-year-old eating system called Hansik. This forces your body to burn fat instead of storing it. And in the next 10 minutes, you're going to learn all about this 1,000-year-old eating system. And these are the 5 rules that Koreans follow to stay lean. Hansik isn't just a diet. It's a complete metabolic optimization system that's been refined over the years. While Americans eat large portions of single foods, Koreans follow a specific pattern. One main dish surrounded by multiple small dishes called Banchan. This creates 3 powerful metabolic effects. The effect number 1 is a fiber satiety cascade. Koreans eat 25 to 30 grams of fiber every day, where Americans are only eating 15 grams of fiber. That's exactly half that amount, giving you half the benefits. And now you're probably asking, what does fiber have to do with fat loss? Fiber activates the stretch receptors in your stomach, making you feel full for longer. Fiber also stimulates the release of 2 important gut hormones. GLP-1, which I'm sure you've heard, glucagon-like peptide 1, which slows down digestion. It helps regulate your blood sugar and also promotes the feeling of fullness. And PYY, peptide YY, which curbs appetite signals for satiety. Together, these hormones tell your brain that you're satisfied after eating a meal. Effect number 2 is the fermentation metabolic boost. Koreans have a superfood called kimchi. It's a fermented food containing lactobacillus strains that act like this tiny fat-burning factory in your gut. And this gives you multiple outcomes. You burn more calories, you use sugar for energy instead of storing it as fat, and you keep your gut lining strong, which helps block inflammation. Effect number 3 is the portion control matrix. This Banchan system tricks your brain into eating fewer calories per meal because you're eating from multiple dishes and small dishes. That registers in your brain that you have more variety and more satisfaction, even though you're really consuming less total food. Now, let me break down how to create these effects in your body to maximize fat burn. So rule number 1 is the Banchan system. This will activate your vagus nerve and your meal satisfaction, and I'll tell you what vagus nerve is shortly. Instead of eating one large plate of food, you eat from 5 to 7 small dishes simultaneously. Each dish is no bigger than the palm of your hand, and your brain takes 20 minutes to register fullness from your stomach. And this system forces you to eat slowly and mindfully because you're constantly switching between different meals, flavors, textures, and this activates your vagus nerve. And I want you to think of this vagus nerve as the highway between your gut and your brain. When this nerve fires, it sends a signal saying stop eating to your brain in about 20 minutes. All of this combines together and helps you eat fewer calories and drives more satisfaction from meals. So this is how I want you to use this trick. You don't have to prepare 5 to 6 small dishes, but every meal should contain a small serving of rice, let's say about half a cup, and I want 2 servings of a protein like a grilled meat, lemon garlic chicken, salmon, or turkey. And then I want you to have 2 to 3 kind of vegetables like kimchi, that fermented cabbage that I'll talk about a bit more, and maybe anything that you can get at the grocery store. I'm talking sauteed spinach with carrots, edamame beans, and most importantly, stuff like fermented dishes like dill pickle spears or a scoop of sauerkraut. Koreans also sometimes include a serving of soup. So you could have bone broth soup or lentil soup, which is high in protein, or even tomato and basil soup that has high antioxidant antioxidants, and high in vitamin A and C. And once you start eating your meals like this, you're gonna feel this natural reduction in portion size. And scientifically, this strong combination of nutrients will improve your digestion, it will stabilize your energy, and it also will help you burn that fat off. My favorite restaurant in the world is a Korean barbecue restaurant. It's here in Malaysia called Kongjong, and I eat there at least once a week. I always order grilled sirloin, and they bring me these little Banchan dishes, right? That has the fermented radish, that has the kimchi. And I always ask for a serving of steamed rice and tteokbokki. It's really helped me stay lean year round and feel like this is a lifestyle. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever tried Korean barbecue and what your experience has been. Rule number 2. Use kimchi to turn your gut into a fat burning factory. Koreans eat kimchi with almost every single meal. So kimchi is a fermented cabbage, and it's loaded with a specific bacteria strain that directly helps with fat loss. It contains Lactobacillus brevis and Lactobacillus plantarum. These are specific bacterial strains that function like microscopic fat burning machines in your intestines. Now, just bear with me. These bacteria produce conjugated linoleic acid, and this activates carnitine palmitoyltransferase, CLA. You may have heard of CLA. These are enzymes that escort fatty acids into your cellular powerhouses, your mitochondria, to be used as fuel. And think of it as having this team of workers whose only job is to grab from the fat in your cells and throw it into the furnace. And there's a 2013 study in nutrition research that found people eating kimchi daily had lower body fat and smaller waist circumferences compared to those who didn't eat fermented foods. So this is how I want you to use this hack. Try buying kimchi at your local grocery store. But I can understand that it may be spicy for some, but you don't need to eat the traditional Korean kimchi if you ain't strong like that, know what I'm saying? Start with any 2 fermented foods with every meal. So for example, you could have sauerkraut, you could have pickled vegetables like pickles, or even Greek yogurt with live cultures, and work your way up to doing this every 2 weeks. And other fermented foods that have been aged for at least 3 weeks that have maximum bacteria activity. And I want you to really pair these with meals that are high in fiber, like broccoli or spinach, that's gonna feed your beneficial gut bacteria for fermented foods. You'll see that your digestion gets better. You'll see that you're reduced in bloating. You have better energy, better sleep, and a smaller waist overall. Just start using this hack. And I'm curious, guys, how do you guys feel about kimchi? Let me know in the comments. And also, if you guys are enjoying these kind of videos where I dive into certain cultures and why it helps them stay leaner and what their secrets are, if you are, just leave the video with a gentle thumbs up. And I saw that nearly 60% or 70% of people aren't subscribed, so subscribe, it's free. I always enjoy the feedback I get from you guys in the videos. Just let me know with your votes. Rule number 3, using high fiber vegetables to control hunger and your hormones. Korean meals are built around high fiber, low calorie veggies that creates a massive amount of satiety that feeding a fullness with minimal calories. The average Korean consumes 25 to 30 grams of fiber daily, and that's compared to the 15 grams that the Americans are having. So high fiber foods forces your body to burn 20% of its calories from digesting them alone. And this is what we call in science the thermic effect of food. And fiber also acts like the sponge in your stomach, and it expands and it also slows down the gastric emptying, making you feel full for up to 3 to 4 hours. It also keeps your blood sugar in check. Korean vegetables like Napa cabbage and bean sprouts are metabolic gold because they're 95% water and they're packed with insoluble fibers. This gives their stomach maximum volume with minimal calories. So in practical, this is how I want you to use this hack. Fill 60% of your plate with non-starchy vegetables every meal. This is something I asked my wife to help me with. So she cuts up different veggies for me. So different colored bell peppers, for example, cherry tomato, she'll add zucchinis in there, she'll add cucumber, and she just adds a touch of pink Himalayan salt to each one of them. And I eat this first before I eat my main meal so I can control my insulin spike. And I recommend you do the same. Have 2 cups of any leafy green, maybe spinach, kale, add some cucumber in there, and And you can also add Korean styled veggies like the Napa cabbage, the bean sprouts, the cucumber, the radish that I mentioned. And there are also more so American veggies that you can add. I'm talking broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, or bell peppers. You're good to go. Always eat vegetables before your protein and your carbs for maximum satiety. And you'll see that you're gonna feel fuller for longer, eating lower calories, and you're also going to avoid those hunger pains that you usually get. This will also improve your gut regularity, it will reduce your cravings, and you're just gonna have a steady amount of energy. Rule number 4, using strategic timing to eat rice to control fat storage. Now, this may surprise you, but Koreans almost eat rice with every meal. They eat it at specific times and in specific amounts that optimize fat burning rather than fat storage. Your insulin sensitivity is highest in the morning and it decreases throughout the day. Koreans take advantage of this by eating larger portions of rice for breakfast and lunch and minimal rice at dinner. They also eat rice with high fiber veggies and proteins like I mentioned, which keeps your blood sugar from rising too fast and stops those insulin spikes that makes your body hold on to fat. So remember, insulin is your body's fat storage hormone. It's not the enemy, but when it's too high, you store fat. When it's controlled, you burn fat. So this is how I want you to use this specific hack. This rule is called no naked carbs. Never eat rice by itself. Always combine it with fiber and protein, or at least one of the two. And if you don't want to have rice for breakfast, that's fine. I normally don't. But if you practice this progressive fasting, which I always talk about in my videos, break your fast with a half a cup of cooked brown rice or maybe quinoa as your first meal of the day when your insulin sensitivity is at peak. Include half a cup of rice with your lunch to fuel your afternoon workout, for example. And then for dinner, limit your rice to 2 to 3 tablespoons or skip it entirely because you're gonna go to bed soon anyway. And always pair rice with your vegetables and your protein for slow absorption. The rice is always great to have pre-workout. Now, if you ask me which rice, brown rice, barley's fine, mixed grains over the white rice, and this is for better blood sugar control. And once you start eating rice like this, you're gonna experience more stable blood sugar, fewer cravings, better energy, and more controlled energy. And also you're just gonna sleep so much better and you're gonna see the weight come off. Now, the final one, rule number 5 that the Koreans follow. It's a secret movement pattern to maximize your daily calorie burn. It's called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And this accounts 50 to 30% of the total calories that your body burns, and that's a lot. So your NEAT includes the daily activities that you do, like walking or even standing. Did you know the average Korean walks between 8,000 and 10,000 steps, where the average American walks 4,000 to 5,000? This means they're burning nearly an extra 250 to 450 calories per day based on the average weight and pace. This means they're almost burning an extra pound of fat automatically by just doing this without even focusing on the diet. So this is how I want you to use this hack. Walk at least 8,000 steps daily. Use your phone or a watch to track, and you can divide your steps into 4,000 in the morning and 4,000 in the evening. And if you want, you can do it all at once at a moderate pace. That's 20 to 30 minutes of walking in the morning and in the evening. Here are some other ways that you can boost your steps by an extra 1,000 to 2,000. What you can do is take the stairs instead of the elevator when you can. Another secret hack is that if you stand up for the last 5 minutes of every hour, so let's say you start at 8 a.m. and you stand up at 8:55, 9:55, and so on, that's 60 minutes of walking that you would have gotten totally from just standing 5 minutes and walking. That's 6,000 extra steps. I also recommend go on a walk with your partner. Go on a walk with your family or your kids. Instead of watching Netflix on the sofa, go outside, spend time together. If you can, park further away from the grocery stores or from work. If you take the bus, maybe stop 1 or 2 blocks away from where you need to get to. Take walking meetings, or if you're on the phone, walk instead of just sitting. And this is something I tell all my clients to practice, and they see that they get to 10,000 to 15,000 easy. Now, I always hear in the comments, Dr. Mike, who has the time to walk all these steps? Honestly, the busiest people I've ever met can get 10 to 15,000 steps daily. It's not about stopping everything that you're doing and just going on walks. Pair it with things you're already doing. Just put it to your top of your mind. On my watch, I've just put this little cheat code here where I can see how many steps I'm taking in a day. And it just reminds me like, hey, move more. And I walk just more just by thinking about it. But without going on a rant, these hacks work synergistically. The Banchan system gives you the variety of flavors to support fullness so you can eat less throughout the day. It also gives you the nutrients you need to improve your digestion. And the kimchi, it provides the gut bacteria that optimize the fat metabolism. High fiber will create that satisfaction, that satiety, and it improves your insulin sensitivity by slowing down your carb absorption, reducing your blood sugar spikes, and also feeding the good gut bacteria. Eating rice strategically gives you the energy you need when you need it the most. And movement integration increases how many calories you're burning and also reducing your stress. Together, they're gonna prime your metabolism so you can stay lean just like the Koreans and also enjoy your foods. Let me know if you guys have ever tried any of these foods in the comments, and if you guys want to know how to melt your visceral fat off with these 2 walking hacks. People love this video. Just give it a look. I'll see you in the next one.